life is supposed to be hard. The experience of being human is supposed to be a challenge. And the more you don't want it to be that, the more of a challenge or difficulty you're going to have. And the more you embrace the truth of this, which is to allow reality to be reality, and you embrace those challenges, you accept that there are elements that are going to be very difficult and very hard, then the easier they become. And this really speaks to the nature of resistance. Whereas the more you resist resistance, the greater the resistance. It's like you compound resistance. Also, there's no avoiding resistance, meaning that there will always be some flavor of resistance. And it's important that there's resistance. One of the parallels that I want to talk about here, which is just to draw an illustration. And so I don't want to turn this into an expectation of how you should be living your lives, but because I'm examining my own experience, I'm going to talk about my own experience, which doesn't have to be your experience. And that experience is one of going to the gym. There's a sincerity of desire within me that wants to be healthy. And the reason for wanting to be healthy is because I know what it's like to be, let's say, sick, or the opposite of healthy. And that's not what I want from my experience. In fact, in my experience of not being healthy, there was a considerable amount of blame, as if it wasn't my fault or my doing, that my experience of lack was somehow because of conditions, somehow because of external influence. Effectively, I couldn't really take responsibility for it, which only made it worse. And then in my journey of regaining my health slowly over time, and for some of those that know, I used to, at some point, be more than 100 pounds than I am now, or 45 kilos. And I grew up as the proverbial fat kid that got made fun of all the time. And so I still have to process a lot of that childhood trauma. My point being is that this is a very intimate experience for me throughout my life. And it's been one of those primary challenges that have fueled a lot of growth that I've experienced. But here's my point, that in order for me to experience more health, in order for me to feel and be stronger, I have to encounter a particular flavor of resistance, and I'm required to do things that on the surface I don't really want to do. Those things are hard. The beautiful part about this is the more I do hard things, the easier those things become. But yet, the easier they become, I find more hard things to do, which then become easy, and on and on and on. So in order for me to progress and grow, there is somewhat of a constant state of resistance. Meaning, I can lift a certain amount of weight that's really heavy and difficult, but at some point it becomes easier. And as it becomes easier, I don't just keep lifting the easy weight. I find harder weight to lift, which maintains that resistance. And in maintaining the resistance, there's a natural growth that happens. There's a strength that's built. I love this parallel because in one way it's so obvious that that's how it works. But I find the same thing happens in relationships. And of course, again, I'm not speaking just about a romantic partner, but our relationships with everything.